America, more than any country, has symbolized liberty. That's why France gave America and no other country the Statue of Liberty.
Oh, I was about to say citation needed, and I was wrong. Oh, no, citation not needed. There it is. There's all the proof. Hey everybody, it's been a rough year, 2020 so far. There's been some things, some events. It's not been the greatest of times. It's been the blurst of times, to say the very least. But at least we get to come together and enjoy the fruits of our labor and graduate. We can all graduate together. Yes, that's right. It's time to graduate from our alma mater, PragerU.
We are living in a unique time. You are therefore a unique graduating class. You may well be known forever as the COVID class. For the first time in history, billions of people, including healthy people and people living in free societies, have been confined to their homes. So let me offer you 3 lessons about life based on what you've experienced.
He does have a lot of lessons. If everyone hasn't read his blog, check it out. He talks about how he doesn't get enough sex from his wife, and that men should be able to, I believe, start some kind of a program in which they're not so much demand sex from their wives, but just basically how to coerce them. He's got a lot of strange articles about what would be kind of deemed non-consensual, consensual sex that I guess he feels he's owed.
Number 1, life is hard. It's unfair. It's unpredictable. Until now, most young people, at least in the West, did not appreciate how true this is. You've been living in a time and place in which so many of life's hardships have been overcome, you've probably lived a healthier, safer, and freer existence than almost any young people who ever lived before you. And if that is true, you would only know about how hard life is if you've read about the sufferings of others, such as the awful suffering people endured during World Wars I and II. Not to mention the starvation and disease of the medieval and ancient worlds. Because of the hardships caused by the coronavirus, including the shattering of millions of people's livelihoods and dreams throughout the world, you've come to sense how hard life is. And that understanding...
It was well before coronavirus. But you know what coronavirus did, which was kind of neat? It really showed everybody, even people who might not have believed it before, the truth, which is that Americans, and most likely the rich and the elites, as you like to put it, they don't care about poor people, old people, and people of color. Because those are the 3 people who are dying at the highest rates from coronavirus, and those are the 3 people who you basically have just thrown by the wayside. It's like, yeah, okay. And now everyone has realized that. And on top of that, and I'm sure you'll get to this, Dennis, but at some point, everyone was confined to their homes, so they couldn't work. And so because they couldn't work, they still had to do all these things like pay rent and eat. So that became a little bit frightening. So it would be a moment or two when, other governments around the world, such as the Nordic countries or even Canada, they came forward and they're like, well, we have to support our citizenry. So Canada, for example, had a $2,000 a month or $3,000 a month program if you were in British Columbia to help everyone who was at home stay at home so the COVID numbers could get flattened. Whereas in America, they gave you a $1,200 check, which may not even pay your rent. And if you could pay your rent, it definitely is not enough to get food on top of that. And then on top of which, they basically use the rest of the money to bail out major corporations. So I'm sure that kind of put a wrench into everyone's plans.
Equips you to deal much better with life's challenges, which are inevitable. Number 2, always be grateful. Gratitude is probably the most important trait you can have because it is the source of both happiness and goodness. In other words, you cannot be either a happy person or a good person unless you're a grateful person. Unfortunately, most people don't learn how important gratitude is until it's too late. I'll bet this makes a lot more sense to you now thanks to the coronavirus pandemic. How often have you thought of the good old days when you could go to a restaurant with friends or to a sporting event or concert or visit a relative you love? But were you grateful for those things when you were able to do them? Probably not. So now make this promise to yourself. I will not wait until I lose the good things in my life to be grateful for having them. Or to put it another way, adopt an attitude that has guided me all of my life. If nothing's horrific, life is terrific.
Isn't that cute? He's the Dr. Seuss of white privilege. If nothing's horrific, everything's terrific. Just look at me. It's been my guiding star, you know? I was born into a rich family. I've had everything I've ever had given to me, and I've gotten to multiply my wealth to untold amounts, and now I use it to indoctrinate young people to think that everything else is okay. So, two things. One, be grateful. All of you, please be grateful. Enjoy the taste of the boot. Have you tasted it? Is it delicious? Good. Well, then tell me how delicious it is. I want to hear you say it. I want to hear you say how good that boot tastes. And then on top of which, if nothing's terrific, everything's terrific.
Most people wait for something wonderful to happen to be happy. My view has always been that instead of waiting for something great to happen to be happy, I will be happy until something awful happens. Number 3.
So, I mean, if you're born into abject poverty and really bad socioeconomic conditions, is that okay if you're unhappy? And if so, are you then okay with the fact that most people in the United States seem to be kind of unhappy with the status quo? Because then, I guess, it all makes sense, right? It all lines up.
Freedom is fragile. Very fragile. The ease with which most Americans acquiesce to the removal of many of their most basic rights, even if you agree with that removal, should take your breath away.
It has been. I think most people are getting pretty damn terrified about what's going on in the United States, especially when it involves Donald Trump and what we see as the rise of fascism. So on this, Dennis, we completely agree.
At least it should make you realize how easily any government can take away people's most elementary freedoms.
Oh, did they go for religion first thing? Of course they did. Yes. Just like Stalin. You know what Stalin did? He came for the churches. So this is probably the hand of communism, no doubt.
People's most elementary freedoms. This happened around the world. But I single out America because no country has been so free for so long. America, more than any country, has symbolized liberty. That's why France gave America and no other country the Statue of Liberty.
Oh, I was about to say citation needed, and I was wrong. Oh, no, citation not needed. There it is. There's all the proof. Fucking all you liberals, all you progressives, all you lefties. Oh yeah, feelings over facts, emotions. Fuck that noise, all right? We got the statue. We got the motherfucking statue right there, okay? There it is. We know America's the freest country that has ever existed because... giant thing. Effigy. Because effigy. That's it. Yeah, effigy was all I needed to know.
Yet people living in states with fewer deaths from the coronavirus than from car accidents acquiesce to living under house arrest.
You know what's neat, though? It's addition. So you had the car accident deaths, and now you have the coronavirus deaths on top of that. It's not like they, single each other out. It's not like addition by subtraction. That's not how this works.
Except to get food or medicine. Being barred from walking outside with more than one other person. And being barred from walking their dog without wearing a face mask.
There's so much strange white privilege going on in this video right now. So basically, big authoritarian daddy government. They're taking away your rights and freedoms. They're forcing you to have to walk outside by yourself. It's terrible. It's just egregious. And then you get approached by the police. This is what the authoritarian government of the United States has been doing. This is very recent, by the way. Like, for the rest of the Americans, nothing bad has ever happened. Everything was great until this moment. So everything was totally fine. Again, remember, rule number 2, be grateful, lick the boot.
Remarkably, they acquiesce to all this as they watch their life savings, their family business, or their job disappear. Now again, you may agree that this should have been done even in states with almost no deaths due to the coronavirus. I don't. But that's not the issue.
I know
here.
You don't.
The issue is how easily modern governments can become police states. In sophisticated New York City, the mayor appealed to people to send the police photos of fellow citizens gathering in groups of more than 2 or not wearing a face mask outside. You may think all this was reasonable, but what is to stop governments from doing such things when you don't think it's reasonable? If there are any
What we have here is the slippery slope fallacy. And, knowing Dennis, it's going to be more slippery than slope.
Silver linings to the coronavirus shutdown of the world's economic and social life. One would be the opportunity to learn life-enriching lessons. So I offered you 3. Life is hard. Always be grateful. And freedom is fragile. I'm Dennis Prager.
He's about to say ACAB. It's going to come out of his mouth. You're going to hear it. I'm Dennis Prager. Abolish the police state.
Hey friend, thanks for watching. Before we bombard you with all of our shameless links, we want you to bombard us. Do you have a worker co-op business or local union you'd like us to advertise at the end of our episode for free? So, if you'd like ears on your worker co-op, go down to weareserfs.com. And while you're there, join the Discord because it's filled with righteous guys, gals, and MPals. Finally, come check us out on Twitch Live 5 days a week by going to twitch.tv/theserftv. Yeah. To our lords, Ricky Pilgrim, I'm Raft, Tomospone, Nine Tails Cosmic Fox, Hans Josephine, and Corpse Harvester, we bow meekly for your pleasure. To our Knights of the Round Table, Josh Mickelson, Dylan Byte, Zach Christensen, Todd Buckingham, Todd Lajeunesse, Clement Chetskoff, Cooper Pilot, aka the Man with Large Balls, Political Puppy, Nick Davis, Ali May, and Alan R., we salute you. And to our many merchants and farmers, you have our undying loyalty.